The video that I posted a few hours ago about Luigi that had a few 100,000 views just got removed for violent extremism.
Me too.
Now I need you to hear
Several
that for a
times
sec.
over.
Violent extremism. Me. In the video, I am talking about how Luigi over here is not Luigi anymore. He has become an idea, and ideas can be very dangerous. And that is why I believe they are flanking him like this. He stands for something greater than himself.
The same thing is happening to me and a number of other creators. Our videos on this subject are being removed and flagged for violent extremism, both here and on my backup. In fact, the video I posted on my backup simply showed 3 photos with no explanation. I didn't mention the accused. I didn't mention any details about the case. I just posted a picture of Superman, Man of Steel, and then a German painting from the 1850s called The Capture of the Christ, and then a picture from the New York Times, the picture that you just saw. And that video was taken down for violent extremism because I said, what's the difference in these 3 images? I can't see any. I had videos here on my main taken down where I wasn't discussing the details of the case or saying anything inflammatory. I was simply speaking about how the accused is becoming a folk hero, is becoming a symbol far greater than himself. And it appears that that's what that creator was talking about as well. How, you know, not only is he attempting to be manipulated into a symbol by the media, by corporations, by executives, by the elites, by the Department of Justice as well, but also how that is spectacularly backfiring and how the American people have crafted their own image, have imbued him with meaning in terms of what they think about the greater issue in our society, but also our own personal experiences as Americans. Nothing inflammatory, nothing extreme, and definitely nothing violent. And for that, our videos are getting taken down. And I have noticed that some folks are still getting mad traffic on videos discussing this case in detail. And I've noticed that some folks are having to be very careful how they phrase things, or their videos are getting removed. And I think it is a matter of time before the bots and the algorithm catch up and start pulling down folks' videos more consistently. Obviously, this platform is run by a corporation, and so we don't have a constitutional right to free speech in this space. They can censor whatever they want to censor. But the question for me is really like, why are you using such unbelievably inflammatory phrasing when talking about relatively innocuous content around this subject? Who is TikTok trying to appeal to and why? And I guess I wonder, does TikTok and the folks that they are trying to appeal to and or appease think that this strategy of making rather silly claims of violent extremism and actively trying to suppress content around this issue, do they think that will be an effective means of swaying public opinion? Do they think it will be effective in silencing dissent, in stifling greater conversations about the way we structure our society and the plight of the working class in America? Or like NYPD's perp walk and photos by legacy corporate media, will it simply backfire? Will they not achieve their goals, but in fact create the opposite opinion, the opposite reaction in the American people?
I just want to let everyone know that I may or may not have been contacted by the FBI about both my username and this video here. And they may or may not have interrogated me for 3 hours over the phone about whether I knew any details about Luigi Mangione. So
I'm debating whether or not I'm actually going to post this video on TikTok. I will definitely be posting it on YouTube, but every single thing I post about this case, whether it is describing the case, my opinions about it, or just showing photos from the New York Times, everything I post gets removed for violent extremism. In case you're wondering where all of my videos on this subject went here on TikTok, on this, my main account, as well as my backup. I've seen a number of folks on this app making claims that if you are not speaking about this case in a way that is condemning of the accused and sympathetic to the plight of CEOs, that you're ending up on a watch list somewhere. So we would all do well to be careful what we say and how we say it. Y'all, I get that Nick's video was a bit, that's the whole point. The fact that so many people could believe that he was interrogated by the FBI over the phone for 3 hours because he made a silly video about making fun of shifters, about shifting into Luigi's jail cell. I think sometimes folks struggle on this app to understand satire and to understand rhetorical devices. And they definitely struggle to understand when folks are using satirical content in order to expand on a valid point, in order to dive deeper into the subject that is being critiqued. The fact that Nick's video was so ridiculous and yet so many people were able to easily believe it speaks to the ridiculousness, the preposterousness of the behavior of the NYPD, corporate legacy media, and the censorship on this app. And that is precisely what I was wanting to point to. That very mild, non-inflammatory content around the Luigi case is being removed for quote unquote violent extremism, my content and the content of many other creators. The gaslighting by corporate media in an attempt to get the American people to see Luigi as our enemy. The pathetic and embarrassing show of force by the NYPD in that perp walk that utterly backfired on them. Folks are tempted to believe ludicrous videos like Nick's because corporate media, CEOs, billionaires, the government, NYPD are cramming a whole lot of preposterous nonsense down our throats. We're all being gaslit, and rhetorical devices, satirical content helps us understand what we are living through right now. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit of a salty hoe right now. I had a video last night. It was not a monetized video. It was like 12 seconds long that I put up comparing 3 different images. One was an image that was published in the New York Times. Folks are talking all over the internet about it, including on this app. And I asked folks, how is that image different from this image of Superman? I think this is from Man of Steel. I haven't seen it, and this image of an 1858 painting by Heinrich Hoffmann called The Arrest of Christ. So I put up this image, an image from the New York Times I apparently cannot show, and this image, a well-known 19th century painting by a German artist. And I was like, what's the difference between these 3 paintings? That's it. A 12-second video. Immediately got I think 50,000 views and thousands of shares. It was up for just a couple of hours. I did not name any names. I did not reference any current events. Nonetheless, that video was taken down very quickly for this reason listed below. Obviously, the appeal was immediately denied. So if you want to have conversations about when life imitates art or visual literacy, symbolism, design, much less film and paintings and photography as social critique, do not think for a second that there is not an active suppression of those kinds of conversations. And I would just ask us all to think about why that is.